Welcome to another journal flip through. As I declutter my space and come upon old journals, I'm making a journal flip video to create a digital copy for memories, and then I'll decide if I archive, recycle, or upcycle them. Hello, my name is Linda, also known as Tortagialla around the internet. I love creative journaling and all things stationery, and welcome to another Journal Show and Tell episode. I have a whole playlist of journal flip throughs, so if you're interested, go on and check out the playlist. Today, I'm flipping through this handmade journal that is sort of a mishmash of things, and I think it's from 2019, but maybe runs into like the COVID era or the beginning. And I'm obviously very bad at dating my journal pages. I usually don't date anything, it just doesn't come to mind usually. Um, that's why I do like having dated planners to use for journaling because then it's already done for me. But generally, I might be able to find a date like somewhere or a year or some kind of ephemera that might date it. So this journal I think is from 2019 and it is another handmade journal. I often make journals like this where I use a scrap piece of leather cut to size and I sew it onto cardstock or watercolor paper to give the cover like a bit more structure and strength. Then I just bind in signatures of paper, and it's usually like always an A5 size journal because here in Europe we use A4 size paper. So I'm just buying a pack, like a ream of paper, folding it in half, and making a journal in that way. So now that I'm looking at this journal cover, I sort of hate it. Like, I'm not a fan of this paisley pattern and the pops of green. It's like an eyesore to me. But it's interesting. I think it's natural that our tastes change over time. Maybe I was okay with this before, but now it's like, ew, yucky. Yeah, do not like it. What do you think? Is it horrible or not? I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting. But this definitely makes me want to like chuck this journal because I don't like the cover. We'll see. So it's a challenge for sure to go through old possessions, right? Especially journals that have like the sentimental value to them. I've tried like the KonMari method before, but just decluttering in general has always been very hard for me. It is a challenge personally, so I'm just going step by step and trying as best as I can. So opening up this journal, you can see I've used that thick watercolor paper for the cover, so it's sewn in with the leather, so it just makes really nice sturdy cover for your journal. And here on the left, I have this floral printed border that I cut out and pasted onto here. It's a floral design that I made, and I just added some gold glitter paper behind and pasted in this sentiment on the front. Wonderful you. Not sure where this is from, but probably from some scrapbooking paper supplies. Then on this side, you can see that I have journaling on the page, and this journal basically has like a bunch of long form like written journaling, sort of like morning pages, but they're not meant to be kept or to be reread. So that is why I've basically like journaled, and then I would like quote unquote art journal over it or collage over it or black it out or something like that to like paste over all of the journaling. So you'll see that in this entire journal. So these cards are little girl doodles I did a while back. I have these cards with doodles like all over the place because there was a season where I just used little cards to doodle on because it was easy to do like a card a day or one at a time, just working small and very limited. Rather than in like a big bound journal. So I just happened to stuck these in here on the first page, and I think I might have been lamenting about gaining weight maybe or something before and after. Still cute doodles, but yeah, that's that. And the next page, I have lots of journaling again, long form, messy, handwriting, but I have covered them up with other collage So this is a pencils kind of pattern paper I designed, and I just stuck that over the page. And here I have a selfie and a receipt that I covered up for privacy. And on the right hand side, I have all these tiny little squares that I've cut out with a doodle in each one of the squares. And I sort of don't know why there's only 49. Like, is that a very specific number? I have no idea. Maybe that's just how many squares fit. But basically, each one is like a tiny little floral or botanical doodle or some kind of motif, like just playing around. And generally, this is a very good journal idea, like inspiration, because oftentimes like whole blank page can be really intimidating and hard to approach. But if you break it up into like little squares or a grid, small pieces, so you're only concentrating on like one little piece and one square that you have to fill in. And after you do that, when you put it all together, it seems like something more, you know? So that is definitely a tip for tackling what might seem like an intimidating page. And if you see this, it's pasted over like long form journaling, and if you look in the background, you can sort of see like random watercoloring that is on the original page, lots of layers, and just covering up all the journaling. Next is a full spread layout using this super bright green floral pattern paper I designed. I must have been in like a green phase or something. Right now, it just seems like too bright and too jarring. Tastes change, but it's sort of related to the journaling of this page, which is about like income, green money, making money, business stuff that I journaled about. And you can see I'm covering up a lot of journaling. And the idea of the spread is that it looks like sort of like a newspaper, like big headline with little subtitles. And I typed these out on the computer and just printed it out and pasted it in here. On the next page, you can see more journaling, messy scribbling, and I've collaged these watercolored oranges on top here on top of the writing on the left, and on the right there is an abstract print, like paintbrush strokes, abstract art print that I printed it out, and then the heart printable, and those are things that I designed. And this card I added in, but I don't know where that is from. Sorry about that. Sometimes, I download a lot of different printables, and sometimes I do not remember where they are from. Because I usually download everything and just stick it in a folder that is like to be printed. And when I have time, I just print out a bunch of stuff and bulk like trim and fussy cut them out so that they're ready to go. So I apologize for not remembering exactly where every little piece comes from. Next page, you can see I colored over all of the journaling, but it doesn't really cover up the writing. So I have this art print here, and there is a date, so you can see it's from April 2019. And then there's this world map from a scrapbooking paper here in the middle, and then this is probably from my daughter's school, so I stuck it in here with some washi tape. Next spread is pretty much the same in terms of stream of consciousness journaling, but I do have this printable paper here with some silver glitter strips. Calm and Collected is just printed out from the computer and pasted in. I want to say I must have been spurred on by a prompt or something, because I don't often type stuff on the computer like journaling and print it out. On the right here, it's like sort of like scrapbooking. I think this is an old Studio Calico journaling card from Project Life, I believe. So it says, okay, let's try that again. Next, we have some journaling in the background again, and me continuing to cover it up. And I think it's because I find it hard to do morning pages sometimes. It's like all this word vomit journaling, right? But this idea of sort of doing this like double thing where you journal, let yourself be free and write whatever, knowing that you're going to do something creative on top and cover it up. So it sort of lets you release a little more. So this is really simple. Here on the left, this is a printable I created, and the XO paper as well, that is a printable I created. And I added this gold strip and a wooden heart for embellishment. I had like a pack of these glitter papers back then, so you can see I use it quite often, like bits and pieces here and there. Here on the right, I've actually collaged on a piece of rice paper, I think, from like brush painting. So you can see there's remnants of like inks, brush marks. And I added this photo of my son and me, which I suppose is more like memory keeping, but it seems sort of random in this journal. I don't really remember why. I can't really explain why I put this photo here, because I have like a dedicated, memory keeping journal like for years and years, because I sort of started scrapbooking back in the day when my kids were born, and I've really done it like religiously all the time. It's probably the one thing that I always keep up with in terms of being very like chronological, because I'm documenting, family things, events, and all that kind of stuff. So it's sort of like easy, part of my routine in terms of memory keeping. And probably it's easy because there's like no shortage of like cute photos to document. So it's easy to, document life, holidays, events, family things. But yeah, these journals instead are more like creative journals, sketchbooks, personal journaling, like that kind of stuff that, you don't necessarily have to keep, or you're not necessarily ever going to show other people. But yeah, I don't know why I have this photo in here. But next page, I can see there's journaling in the background again, and it's covered up with this heart pattern printed on vellum. And these heart pattern papers, there are lots of variations that I created, and it's all posted on my blog for free download if you're interested. And on top, I have this background design, which I created because at the same time, like, I think, I was on Patreon, and I send out things to patrons, and so I always created sort of like a background paper or something that I could attach the stuff on, sort of like a background card. So I stuck one of those in here, but I cut out this card from an old postcard, and I have these encouraging words printed out, stuck on here. I don't remember this. Because I don't often do journaling on the computer and print it out and add it in my journals these days, so this is definitely like what I did before. I think it's interesting because now I often try to use my own handwriting, even though I think it's messy and like crazy. But yeah, I don't print out journaling very much now. On this side, it's just a magazine cutout in the background with a leather heart embellishment, and then I have this envelope that I made into a pocket so I could put a movie ticket stub on in here. My kids were really into these Italian YouTubers, and of course they branched out and made their own brand. They have like these really horrible movies with like Warner Brothers, and we obviously went to see it. They have loads of merchandise. They're like super famous on YouTube here, but they made their own franchise, and they are like their own thing. And it's been so many years, right? I think they got married too. They're like adults, obviously. And let's see, the next page, there's more magazine collage, and this quote in the middle by Emily Dickinson: "To wait an hour is long, if love be just beyond. To wait eternity is short, if love reward the end." So I think it's interesting how our tastes really do change over time, because when I read this quote now, it doesn't really strike anything in me. And I was like, whatever. But at the time, I must have thought differently. It's interesting. And here in the lower corner is sort of like an embellishment cluster. So I have a cutout from a design I did, and then some decorative tabs, and some text here, I Heart Fridays, some painted paper in the background. The idea of creating like cluster embellishments is definitely from, the scrapbooking world for me. I've always journaled in terms of like writing, like personal journaling, and a lot of sketchbooks and doodling and stuff. But I got into scrapbooking with all the photos and stuff like that when I had kids. And afterwards, I started also doing like mixed media kind of art journaling kind of stuff. So now everything is sort of like a mishmash of all these things that I've tried. And it just depends on what I feel like on a particular day. I'll choose like what mediums I want to work with. But lately, I I haven't touched paints a lot because it just requires more setup, right? And it's like messier in general. So even though I really love the look, I miss it. Right now might not just be the right season in my life to like have a, painting station on my desk. It's too bad. I definitely miss the whole mixed media thing. Let's see. On the next page is another background with magazine pages, and this little phrase here is from a magazine as well. But I have my girl doodles, and I've just cut them out and stuck them into this journal because I often doodle like on just like printer paper. And the journaling you can see is under. Next spread, more journaling, but covered up with watercolor papers behind here. And then there is artwork from my son, and this piece is from a magazine page again. And here's me trying to letter on a piece of vellum. I love it when people do like beautiful lettering and stuff. I just can't get myself to practice, and I'm pretty bad at it. But yeah. Next spread of journaling is covered up by this pink thing here. Is probably like a sample print I did of a zodiac printable I created for my Etsy shop, but I have pasted over it with a drawing my daughter gave me from school, and I'm just using post-it notes here to cover up sensitive information from the school paper. So yeah, it's weird how this journal has like random tidbits of ephemera and like memory keeping stuff. It's like, what was I putting in my memory keeping book then? Next I have on this side the same like heart vellum paper for the background, and then I have this ribbon from a flower shop and this blue heart for deco, and this is something my daughter gave me. She made it in school. It's a face, if you can't tell. I think it's supposed to be me. And on this right side, I have another doodle character, and it's colored in with watercolor. And this lined paper here on the side is from Daphne's Diary, I think. It's a very pretty magazine. They also make like planners and stuff, and yeah, just really pretty graphics. Then I have another page of journaling and collage papers over it. This is interesting. It says the open country of a woman's heart, and then it has the map, love of dress, sentiment, region of platonic affection. It's cute, but I want to say it's maybe from a magazine, like this whole cutout. I'm not sure. I do not remember. And on this side, I just have a smear of color, and this is what I was referring to missing in terms of, like, I'm not skilled at painting at all, but I like the texture that it makes and the effect and the bold colors, that you can get. It just looks very like organic, cool. So it's something I miss in like art journaling and mixed media in general. One day I will get back to it. So this deco card, Eat Good, Feel Good, is a design from my food collection from years ago. And this next page, I had these mailing labels that I watercolored and stamped because I was doing an experiment using white mailing labels, and you decorate them with like watercolor and stamps, and it's sort of like making your own stickers, right? So I just have these here, and then I have an envelope pasted on. This is from my daughter for sure because she loves glittery, shiny things, so she gave it to me. And here I have this whole glitter paper and a tiny label that says, do more of what makes you happy. Great reminder. Next, I have this watercolor piece I created, and I can't... watercolor piece that says, like, wake, create, sleep, repeat. It's sort of like a typography design. Wake, mom, life. And just random tidbits in here. And now you don't see the long form journaling, so I must have moved it elsewhere. Because in the rest of these pages, I just started to just like paste things in. And so turning the page, you can see I have scribbles in the background, but this scrapbook piece of paper, there's this whole series of girl doodles, and I think I must have started a challenge. It's like October or something like that, usually for Inktober, something similar. So I must have gave myself this little box shape and said I was gonna like doodle a girl a day, so I just pasted it into this journal on a daily basis. So flipping through, you can see that I just have variations of like doodle girls. That's all I made. And I definitely like the effect of the bold, dark background. I used up a lot of ink for this experiment. And I don't know, now that I'm looking at it, like some are cuter than others. It's cute. I always go straight in with pen, so there's no erasing or anything like that. These are just like quick. exercises. And I think towards the end, my black pen was probably running out, so I tried to switch to a different color, even though all my markers were probably running out of color. And yeah, I tried some other colors as well, but the black is definitely much more bold and effective. But the challenge must have been over, and then I stopped with these, and I have here a piece of watercolor I did and pasted in here. And on the right hand side, I just have some notes, I think, because I was reading up on mindset. And then I have a page labeled Season of Reflection. So this must have been when I joined Get Messy Art Journal, and they have like prompts and things like that for journaling, art journaling. So I must have been doing the different things in here. On the right hand side, I have washi taped in another girl doodle, and I have written up some things that can pick me up, like a day of music, draw a girl, drink a smoothie, indulge in self-care. And I really like to draw and sketch, but I often stop at this point. Like, I never finish them off. Like, I don't ink them or color them. I'm just like already over it. Next page, there's another pattern paper that I created here, and I have leather punched out, like a leather punched out heart, and then there's a thought for the day card that says wheresoever you go, go with all your heart. And on the right hand side here, I think it was another exercise from Get Messy. So you're like mind mapping areas of your life and making little mosaic pattern with tiny bits of colored paper. And next we have a full spread. In this pattern paper I designed, and I added this little house image from a magazine and some thread and glitter, gold paper here, just sort of making like an embellishment cluster. And then I have journaling about gratitude thoughts here. And the next page is also another full spread page with another pattern paper I designed of birch trees. And I have this art print that looks, I don't know, did I print this out? No, I think it was sent to me. Someone sent me this in like a Happy Mail or something, and there was like a bunch of them. So I included one here, but do you guys know who the artist is? I can't seem to read the signature, but it looks very like, famous, like a famous mixed media artist. On the right hand side here, I just have a postcard from another artist that I stuck in here. And next, then I have, it's getting to be very white and spare. And so I have like some marker experiment, trying to make a background pattern here. Marion Bright card that I didn't want to throw away. And I have a bunch of these cockatiel stickers, bird stickers from Daiso, I think. Then I have some art that my daughter gave me stuck in here. There's a vellum pocket where this is something else that my daughter made me. It's sort of like a little booklet of stickers. I let her go into my stash and make stuff, so she can like go nuts. And so I have a card stuck in here. This is a card that my daughter made maybe for her dad. So seeing these little like memory keeping things in here, I wonder why I didn't include them in my normal memory keeping scrapbook. I'll have to go look up this year and see what happened. Next I have this vellum, like huge pocket, because I'm just storing drawings and art things that my kids have made. Maybe this was overflow, and that's why I just stuck it in this journal, because so whenever I get to the end of a journal, I often already feel like I want to move on. So like I often don't finish like the last couple pages. And I think that's what happened here. I was just like ready to move on, so I'm just like sticking in probably all these things that have been left on my desk, and I'm just trying to like, put them somewhere, all this ephemera. So another like kids art piece, and as you can see, all blank pages. So I moved on and didn't finish this. In the end here, I have like a postcard stuck in here. This is a card from a friend. And then these little sheets, like it's stuff, there's like a news article and things like that. These are from like the COVID month, so it's obviously from 2020. I must have just stuck them in here. Like these leaves on the tree, I basically drew like collage this tree, and every day that my kids were home from COVID, like doing the remote schooling because everything was shut down and closed, I like added a leaf. So they were home for many, many days. Yeah, so this journal's from 2019, and maybe it went up to 2020 and things were just getting crazy. and that's where we are. But yeah, I can't even remember the details of like 2019 Christmas, 2020. I don't remember. So that's it for this journal flip. I hope you enjoyed taking a peek, and you might like the idea of this, like doing long form journaling, like morning pages, but then immediately doing some art journaling kind of stuff to cover it up, because it's not meant to be read or anything. So it's sort of a cool idea, like a cool effect. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. I'm curious to hear what you think. Thank you for watching as always. And if you love journaling and using digital printables, I'm building my community on Ko-fi. You can go check out the link, is in the description to find out more. But basically, if you join as a member, you get all the digital printables that I've ever posted on my Ko-fi feed. And of course, I also have a blog. There's totally free printables there on tortagialla.com. You can download some pattern papers and try it out for your next journal page. So thank you so much for watching and supporting me here. And until next time, bye.